What's up everybody, welcome back to the art of crypto, the birthplace of absolutely legendary gains. In this video we are going to do an updated look on Bitcoin. Are we going to dump it to zero? Are we going to go up? If you want to figure out the exact levels that you have to pay attention to Bitcoin, then you're going to want to watch till the end of this video. And just right before we get into it, Binance recently announced that they're going to be banning derivatives across the European region, which means for the Europeans out there, you are very likely not going to get access to futures anymore. Now, I'm not sure if a VPN solves this, but honestly, this is really big news. Like, it's not going to be pretty. And to be really honest, I don't get this, man. There's been so much Binance FUD going on recently, and derivatives isn't even the problem. Like, leverage is not the problem. Too many people who don't know how to use leverage, over-leveraging themselves, that is the problem. Like, honestly, this sucks. Like, for the rest of us who know what we're doing with futures, leverage acts as a very good way for us to free up our capital. So, you know, if let's say you're going to buy, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, rather than, buying $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, you could go long on 10x and just put down $1,000 because, $1,000 times 10 is 10k. Honestly, I don't agree with this, right? What they're doing, and that's just my personal 2 cents. And again, if you haven't already followed me on Twitter at _theartofcrypto, you're going to want to do so because this is where I'm sharing the latest market updates. But immediately, I'm sorry for getting there, but let's get into the charts now. So let's figure out exactly what Bitcoin's going to do. So if we just start off from the daily chart, you can see that if we just draw it like this, right? Then Bitcoin technically has, either formed a lower high, which, the previous high was over here, yeah? And this is technically a lower high right now. And, in hindsight, this was to be expected. Now, historically speaking, there have only been less than a handful of times when Bitcoin has actually managed to sustain, green daily closes for more than 8 days in a row. And at the moment, you can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 days. So this retrace was completely like in our expectation. Like, for those of you who got caught up in like, oh, Bitcoin's going to the moon, baby, you only have yourself to blame. I'm sorry, but sometimes you have to play things according to the odds, and the odds were that we did a retrace. If you followed me on my Twitter, you would have known this was coming. And if you're in the private Discord group, you definitely would have known this was coming. So let's figure out exactly where Bitcoin's gonna find its bottom at, basically. So again, if you have watched this channel for any amount of time, you know that I really like to use this concept called order blocks. And order blocks are basically untapped areas of liquidity. Basically, the last bearish candle before a massive move upwards is going to be your bullish order block, and the last bullish candle before a massive move downwards, in this case that would be this one right here, this is a bearish order block. Now, the way that you're going to want to use this is basically order blocks are institutional areas of value, which means there is a very good chance that institutions will like to push price to that area in order for them to, that's where they trade from. If retail trades, using the concept of support and resistance, institutions trade using order blocks. So let me just, mark down a few order blocks that you're going to want to pay attention to and figure out exactly, where Bitcoin's going to find support at. So if you just take a look here, right, this order block right here, notice how the price just dipped into the order block and then, it started to bounce. And so far it's already bounced like 1%. I know that isn't much, but again, it goes to show that this order block stuff really works. Over here, last bearish candle before a massive move upwards, price came down into the order block before bouncing. So this stuff really works. And to those of you who are not trained to look for order blocks, you're going to be thinking like, hey, why did the price bounce here? Why did the price go there? To the untrained eye, it looks really random, but for us, we know what's happening, and so we can react accordingly. So in this case, we have already filled this bullish order block, but is that the bottom? Not exactly. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to mark down all of these order blocks, and then you're going to want to enter on the top of these order blocks. So these are going to be areas where you are, these are going to be areas where Bitcoin is likely to find a bottom at. Now, am I saying this is the end of the dump? Well, not exactly. Are we going to bounce here? To be honest, I don't know. But at least on a higher time frame, it would absolutely make sense for us to do a little retracement. Now, as for the target of this retracement, I do think that we might go to 36.6k. We might, and form a higher low before continuing this move upwards. But currently it's a bit too early to tell. In fact, for Bitcoin to honestly go into a bearish state, it would need to break this low at 29.3k. Now, this is on the higher time frame, right? if Bitcoin were to break this level at 29k, like I do expect us to go to at least 27, 24, maybe 20k, but that is a long way away. So right now, let's focus on the lower time frame and, figure out exactly where Bitcoin might find a bottom. So you're going to want to mark down these levels at 35k, at 33k-ish, and 30k. So these three levels are going to act as really strong support. And in fact, if you just take a look at the VPVR indicator, and by the way, VPVR indicator is a paid indicator. You just go to indicators and search for visible range. This is the one. And for those of you on the fence about getting a TradingView subscription, like, come on guys, as a trader, literally the only tool we need to do our trading properly is TradingView. At least invest in like the only tool you're going to use. Yeah, surely that is not outrageous. So if you want $30 off TradingView, make sure you head to the link in the description. There is a $30 off promo code. Make sure you use it well. So these three levels are going to be pretty good levels to buy Bitcoin at if it does get there. Am I saying it's going to get there? Not exactly, but if it does get there, these are going to be pretty good areas of value. You can as well add, personally, I probably wouldn't buy Bitcoin at 36.6. I mean, I did buy it here and, I've already taken profits, but if it were to go back to 36.6k, I wouldn't really be sure if it's going to find support there. Currently, let's just play it safe and follow the order blocks, because there is another thing that you have to, keep in mind, and that is the fact that technically Bitcoin is just, in a massive rising wedge right now. And if you don't know anything about technical patterns, let me just break it to you that rising wedges tend to break lower pretty much 68% of the time. So if our draw is just something like this, right, it's not the prettiest, but you can see that this is a rising wedge, and 68% of the chance they tend to break downwards, right? 32% they break upwards. And if they break upwards, then that's going to be a parabolic move. But in this case, we have followed, we've broke down 68% of the time. So at the moment, we have broken down. Now, again, this is not financial advice, purely my opinion. I neither have the qualifications or the certifications to be providing financial advice. All of this is simply my opinion. And the reason why I do believe Bitcoin might come down and test these order blocks is because of two reasons. The first of which is, first off, massive move upwards, and, we should be getting a retracement. But secondly, the most important thing and the most probable reason is because, again, remember what I said about order blocks being institutional areas of value. It basically just means that until institutions push the price of Bitcoin down to an area where they are likely to get involved, Bitcoin's probably just going to keep dumping. Just pay attention to these levels, pay attention to these order blocks. These are order blocks that have not been tested before, and historically speaking, there is a very good chance that, institutions are going to just dump the price to these order blocks before we continue our move upwards. And remember, until Bitcoin breaks this level, like this low right here, we are not bearish yet, right? Bitcoin could literally retrace anywhere between this range and it would still form a high low. So for those of you asking, how do you trade Bitcoin? Well, if I made this video earlier, you could have taken a short. And if you were in the private Discord group, you would have already shorted Bitcoin here. Now, as for the rest of you who are looking to buy Bitcoin, again, 35k, 33k, 30k. These are levels that you're going to want to pay attention to, and very likely, Bitcoin is going to find support there. Now, the way you want to use these levels is to dollar cost average. Basically, as the price is going down, if you have, let's say, $1,000 to play with, maybe you will buy $250 there, $250 there, and $500 there. Now, am I saying that the price is going to get there? No, not exactly. But if it does get there, it's going to be pretty good levels to buy at. And as for the stop loss, you could choose to use a stop loss, or you can choose not to use a stop loss. Personally, I would probably be just dollar cost averaging all the way down to 20k if we do get there. But at the moment, still too early to tell. At the moment, we are still bullish, and until we break this low, we are still bullish. So as for the take profit targets for if you, let's say, buy Bitcoin around there, I do expect Bitcoin to try to go back up to retest some higher order blocks. In this case, I do believe that it will go somewhere about 46k, perhaps even 48k, 50k. Basically, what you need to understand about being bullish on an institutional order flow is that if you're bullish on an institutional level, then you are going to go up and attack the previous highs. So the previous highs would be somewhere like, right about here. This is a previous high, and expect it to get attacked as long as we remain bullish. In this case, I will actually move it just a tad bit downwards, because again, this is the last bullish candle before a massive move downwards. We did not get a retest of this order block, and just to prove it, the VPR shows that this is an area of liquidity indeed. And again, I just want you to pay attention, right? The reason why these order block things work is, again, if you just take a look here, order block, right? There's volume support over there, order block over here. Look at where the volume starts to pick up, right? Not before, but at the order block. So again, it just works. Now, am I saying that, if you do buy Bitcoin here, you're not gonna, it's absolutely gonna drop lower? No, I'm just saying that probably it's likely to bounce there. Now, as for the bullish scenario, because again, we over here at this channel, we are grand strategists. We do not be overly biased towards any given direction. While I do believe that this is going to have a pullback, right? Who knows? Maybe during the weekends we might, absolutely pump. Chances of that, not very high, but the level that you're going to want to pay attention to is at 41.4K. Now, if you get a break above this level, right? As the price is breaking above this level, you are going to want to enter into a long, okay? Along with a breakout, or you enter during the bullish retest. These are going to be your two entries, and the reason why these entries are good is because you can literally just set your stop loss right underneath that level, because you understand that previous resistance tends to become future support. So if it doesn't become future support and the price does fall back down, then you get stopped out for a tiny loss. That is perfectly fine. The best traders in the world are wrong about half the time, and yet they're still wildly profitable. So it's perfectly fine to be wrong, but it's not fine to let any single mistake blow up your account. So in this case, your take profit targets is going to be 45K, 48K, and if we're really bullish, then we might go test this level at 53K. I do believe that this is the top before a pullback, but it's still too early to tell. If there's any updates, I will definitely make a new video. And again, the way you want to use these take profits is, let's say you take your profit 25% here, maybe 50% here, 25% here, and 25% here. Best traders in the world always dollar cost average, because nobody knows where's the exact top, nobody knows where's the exact bottom. That's why you take profit along the way. And if you've learned a thing or two during this video, it would help me so much if you could just smash the like button. It's a really small gesture, but it really helps me a lot. Again, I do expect these areas of liquidity to get tested again, at least to stop out the liquidity right below this level. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically, imagine if you were going long on Bitcoin. If it does get to 36.6K, what you might expect to see is that retail is going to buy Bitcoin here, yeah? And then what happens if you buy Bitcoin there? Most likely your stop loss is going to be placed right underneath this level, which means this is an area of potentially high liquidity, which means, institutions, they like to stop out liquidity. They like to take away your liquidity. They like to stop people out. So if Bitcoin does bounce from this level, I do expect a lower high to form before stopping out all the liquidity and pushing price to an order block before bouncing. So that was, in summary, what the last 10 minutes was about, but that was just an explanation of why that might happen. And if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know exactly how accurate I am. And if you're interested to learn how to do this for yourself, then you're going to want to check out the private Discord group. Over here, you're going to get access to a world-class trading education where, I basically lay down everything that I know. So if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, maybe you're just serious about doing crypto or trading for a career, and you just want to learn the things that work and discard 90% of the things that don't, this is going to be the place for you. As a bonus, you're going to get access to very profitable trading setups every single day where, everyone is making profits, basically every single day. And there have been so many people who have already paid back their membership in just a couple of trades. Just as a bonus, right? You're going to get access to, real-time market updates and very accurate updates, might I add. So, if you're just uncertain about how to navigate the markets during times like this is going to be the place for you. Now, I will be closing the private Discord group tomorrow. So if you haven't already joined, and you just don't want to miss it, you're gonna want to join within the next 24 hours. After I close this, it'll probably be at least 3 to 4 weeks before I open it up again. So with that said, I'm gonna see you in the private Discord group. May the gains be with you, my friend, and peace.